The day Remi Thornfra became the most hated man in Lakeside Estates was the same day he became its most powerful. It all started with a $500 fine from Karen Wellington and her homeowners association, charged for fishing with his grieving daughter. What they did not know was that Remi had $4 million reasons to fight back and enough spite to use every single one of them. Remi Thornfra had built a successful career in venture capital and financial investment, retiring at 42. But life took a turn when his wife Rachel lost her battle with cancer, leaving him to raise their 14-year-old daughter, Solon. Fishing, their last shared family activity, became their solace. Seeking a fresh start, Remi found Lakeside Estates, a community with upscale homes, good schools, and a beautiful 6-acre lake. The realtor mentioned a homeowners association, assuring him it was standard. But Remi would soon discover the iron fist of Karen Wellington, the HOA president. On a peaceful April morning, Remi and Solon were fishing at the community lake when Karen Wellington, impeccably dressed and with a speak-to-the-manager haircut, confronted them. She informed him that fishing was prohibited, a rule amended just last month, and issued a $500 fine. Remi, who had received no notification, tried to reason with her, explaining the realtor's assurances. Karen, however, was unyielding, citing environmental and safety concerns, and the smell of fish and bait disturbing residents. Her condescending tone and pointed remarks about new residents and different types of neighborhoods made Remi realize this was more than just about rules. When Solon started crying, Remi quietly packed up, promising to check the updated regulations. Later, Remi discovered that Karen had been HOA president for 8 consecutive years, also owning a luxury real estate company. He found social media posts of Karen hosting parties at the very same lake, seemingly exempt from her own rules. A deeper dive into the HOA documentation revealed that the lake was a common property amenity, with the HOA's control over its use stemming from a 30-year lease from Meridian Development Corporation, the original developers. This lease, crucially, was set to expire in less than 2 months. Remi's neighbor, Merrick Henderson, a retired attorney, confirmed Karen's dictatorial reign. Merrick revealed that Meridian Development was in financial trouble and looking to liquidate assets. He suspected Karen was trying to acquire the lake for her own real estate development, planning to reduce lake access and build luxury homes. This explained the sudden fishing ban, a strategy to prepare the lake for a change of ownership. Merrick introduced Remi to Samuel Washington, a retired bank owner who had meticulously tracked Karen's activities. Samuel's data showed a disturbing pattern. Homeowners of color received violations at 3 times the rate of white neighbors, and properties sold due to compliance issues often ended up in the hands of shell companies connected to Karen's real estate operation. The lake, they concluded, was Karen's endgame. Remi, with his venture capital background, saw an opportunity. Meridian's precarious financial position made the lake valued at $300,000, a distressed asset. He also discovered that Karen's own real estate company was highly leveraged, making the lake deal not just profitable, but essential for her financial survival. With this knowledge, Remi formulated a plan. He would make an immediate all-cash offer for the lake. Samuel and Merrick advised waiting until Karen had publicly committed to her development plans, maximizing the impact when Remi pulled the rug out from under her. They maintained absolute secrecy, appearing only as a group of disgruntled residents. As Remi gathered his allies, Karen intensified her harassment. He received a barrage of absurd violation notices, from improper weed control to his garage door being the wrong shade of taupe. The targeting extended to anyone associated with Remi's group, with ludicrous fines and public humiliation. The final straw came when Solon returned from school in tears, having been ostracized by classmates due to rumors spread by Karen's allies. Merrick convinced Remi not to give in, reminding him of the families Karen had hounded into selling their homes. That same evening, Remi received confirmation that Meridian's board had accepted his offer for the lake. He also discovered that Karen's proposed special assessment for lake improvements, A thinly veiled attempt to fund her purchase required 75% homeowner approval, not the simple majority she claimed. This was the moment everything clicked for Remi. He withdrew $350,000, 15% more than Karen's offer, and with Samuel's help, signed the paperwork with Meridian Development. The lake now belonged to Remi. The timing was perfect. The day after he closed the deal, Karen had scheduled a special HOA meeting to announce her vision for the lake, which included reducing the water area to make room for a members-only lounge and luxury homes. At Karen's emergency HOA meeting, she launched a thinly veiled smear campaign against Remi and publicly humiliated Samuel. When Sapphira Duskland tentatively suggested a community vote, Karen subtly threatened her flower shop lease. Remi, armed with the knowledge of Karen's impending downfall, watched with a strange sense of calm. Karen, desperate, enlisted the mayor to create administrative pressure on Remi, subjecting his home to random safety inspections. But then, Meridian's lawyer called. Karen had been informed that the lake property was sold to an anonymous third-party investor. Karen, visibly cracking, confronted Remi, who calmly stated that the recreational use agreement, which expired in less than 30 days, was at the sole discretion of the new owner. Karen frantically tried to identify the new owner and develop strategies to regain control. But Merrick assured Remi that her legal claims were baseless. Remi, meanwhile, assessed the lake's ecological health, finding neglect and algae growth, providing grounds for early termination of the recreational use agreement. The turning point came when Karen organized a massive lakeside party for original homeowners, conspicuously excluding newer residents. As the party reached full swing, Remi, accompanied by his attorney and a police officer, calmly took the microphone. He announced that he was the legal owner of the lake and the surrounding 10-foot shoreline, and that everyone was trespassing. He was terminating the recreational use agreement immediately and gave them 15 minutes to leave. The crowd fell silent, Karen's face a mask of shock. The party dispersed quickly, with many guests expressing a mix of shock and respect for Remi. He installed no trespassing signs and hired security. He then held a press conference announcing his plans to convert the lake into a natural fish conservation and educational area. Public opinion shifted dramatically as details of Karen's planned development and personal profit motives leaked. Karen's lawsuits were dismissed, and her attempts to implement punitive measures against Remi were met with increasing skepticism from residents. The tide truly turned when Sapphira Duskland, emboldened, exposed Karen's manipulation of regulations and diversion of HOA funds. Other residents followed suit, and a motion to audit all HOA finances was proposed. As financial irregularities emerged, the community fractured, with many residents recognizing the HOA leadership as the real problem. Remi announced a special program: free fishing passes for all children, with the exception of children of current HOA leadership. This was petty, but effective. Veronica Palmer, a vocal supporter of Karen, approached Remi, her discomfort palpable, to inquire about her son joining the program. Within days, she resigned from the HOA board, followed by 2 other members. Karen grew desperate, spreading rumors about the lake being polluted, which Remi quickly debunked. Her most desperate move yet was attempting to bribe Merrick Henderson to convince Remi to sell the lake. Merrick, a retired ethics attorney, recorded the entire conversation. The final act of Karen's reign came when security cameras caught her attempting to contaminate the lake. Remi sent the video to the police, and Karen was charged with criminal trespassing and attempted environmental contamination. Further investigations into HOA finances during her tenure revealed misappropriation of funds and selective enforcement. 2 weeks later, Remi invited the community to his home to discuss the lake's future. He proposed transferring ownership to a new community trust with 3 conditions: a restructured HOA with term limits and transparent voting, a review of all HOA regulations for fair application, and an independent ethics committee. Then he revealed his final move. He had quietly purchased the mortgage notes on nearly 20% of the community's homes, including Karen's. He had no intention of foreclosing, but it gave him significant leverage to fix the broken system. The vote to replace the HOA leadership was nearly unanimous. Karen Wellington resigned in disgrace, facing criminal charges and civil lawsuits. Her real estate company came under investigation, and she was forced to sell her home. Sapphira Duskland was elected as the new HOA president. The lake was officially renamed Rachel's Lake, and Remi transferred ownership to the community trust, ensuring its perpetual accessibility. 3 months later, Remi and Solon hosted a community fishing day at Rachel's Lake, a testament to the rebuilding of their community. As Solon smiled, a real full smile, Remi realized that justice sometimes comes not from winning, but from rebuilding what was broken. 1 year later, their community became a model for HOA reform. Remi, declining a mayoral run, established a scholarship fund in Rachel's name. He had learned that the best way to defeat a bully isn't to become a bigger bully, but to change the rules of the game entirely.